Welcome to Fresh Convos Season 2. Today we got Troy Thompson.
Troy Thompson, Troy L Thompson in the house, baby. How
Yep.
y'all doing out there?
Say what's up to the people.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you
Go ahead.
for checking me out, checking out my first Fresh Combos, or my Fresh Combos, season 2 of Fresh Combos. I appreciate it. I'm honored to be the first person for season 2. So I'm ready, Joe. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So, where are you from?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy, born and raised.
All right.
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
grew up right there by Tompkins Park. A lot of people call it Herbert Von King Park, but it's professionally known to us as Tompkins Park in Brooklyn, New York.
Word.
Yeah.
Yo, you have moved around different places when you were in the Marines.
hmm
What places did you stay before moving to DC?
Well, before I was like he said, I grew up in New York City, Brooklyn, New York, and then at 17, I decided to join the military. So I joined the United States Marine Corps and went to boot camp in South Carolina,
Hmm.
Parris Island, South Carolina. And from there, I got enlisted and I got my orders. They sent me to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I went to supply school in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And while I was there, you know what I'm saying, I hooked up with a bunch of people that lived in DC at the time. You know what I'm saying? I had a friend of mine. We all lived in the barracks together. I had a friend of mine. He used to come to DC every weekend. So we decided to travel with him. It was me, a guy from St. Louis. We all decided to travel up with him to DC and get into the club scene. So we used to come to DC to the E clubs, wear our matching outfits, and go clubbing all like every weekend. Like get up here Friday, get back probably just enough time to get dressed to start our day for work Monday. But we used to go to the E clubs and hang out there and everything. Back then, though, you know what I'm saying? I was writing a lot of poetry back then, you know what I'm saying? A little romantic poetry back then. So it was a lot of love poems. I used to write love poems for people. You know what I'm saying? If they had relationship issues, they'd be like, yo, Troy, write me a little something, something. And I would hook them up with love poems and that. But that was before I went to Saudi Arabia after during Desert Storm. So I was there for like 6 months in Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying? By the time when I got back, I met my wife, the person I was gonna marry, and we got married. You know, I proposed to her. Then I ended up moving here to DC where she lives.
Okay,
DC, Maryland.
what year was that when you moved to DC?
I moved up in this area in 1992, right after I got after Desert Storm. Got back from Desert Storm August 1991. Met her and followed her up here. You know what I'm saying? Love at first sight for me. So made that happen.
That's really dope.
Make sure.
Um, Kokai was the first MC you met from the Freestyle Union.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was at what, 8 Rock? They were at Freestyle Union was at 8 Rock.
At the time, it was at A Rock, but the way I met Kokai, him and my wife, which was my fiance back then, they both used to work at the National Endowment of the Humanities, right there, the old post office pavilion, which is probably Trump Tower now, one of the Trump hotels or whatever that crap is. But yeah, please. But when I first started talking to my wife, and then I came up here, she used to work with Carl in the mailroom, Kokai. She used to work with Kokai in the mailroom. So every time she had a conversation with Kokai, she used to always say, well, you sound just like my fiance. And every time I'm at home, she had a conversation with me, she said, oh, you sound just like this dude I work with named Carl, which was Kokai. So she said, you need to meet him. So we ended up meeting. I went to her job and met him. He was working in the mailroom at the time. And when I first met him, you know, we were talking about everything. We had so much in common about DC, hip hop in general, our favorite acts, you know what I'm saying? Because we were both into that type of like underground hip hop. You know what I'm saying? We were both in the like Digital Planets and all these other type cats back from back in the day. We were both into all the all the old groups, the Run DMCs and everything. And then this dude busted a freestyle for me in the mailroom. And I got to say, it was like one of the most incredible things I've ever heard. As far as like, um, Khalil described Kokai as a saxophone whenever he was rhyming. This dude busted out in about 4 or 5 different styles mid rhyme while he was freestyling. It was like one of the most incredible things I ever heard. So, you know, I didn't have a lot of friends then. So me and him would hang out all the time. You know what I'm saying? We would go like, he took me to church with him a few times. You know what I'm saying? We went to New York a few times, to Brooklyn, because he had family up here in Brooklyn a couple of times. So drove up probably like 93 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we would go to all these little music seminars in DC all the time. I mean, it was awesome. It really was. And then he invited me to A-Rock one day. He said, well, you know, we got this thing going on, this freestyle thing going on at A-Rock. So would you like to come? So I went a few times. The first time I went, it was just at A-Rock. I mean, they had chairs. I met Tony Blackman there, obviously, but they had she had all these chairs set up in front of the stage, you know what I'm saying? And it was like a bunch of people there that you probably know now. So Sub Z was there. Back then he was called Tin Buck. There used to be this there used to be this guy named Divine there, who you probably know as Dave. Dude used to play the djembe drums back in the day.
Yes.
Brainchild was there back, you know, John Moon, but back then he was Brainchild, you know what I'm saying? Black Indian was there. Da Smooth was there. I don't know if you remember Da Smooth.
Yes.
But Da Smooth actually worked where Kokai worked with Kokai and my wife at Natural Dominant Humanities as well. So he was there. There was this female puppeteer named Woodstock. You know what I'm saying? I've only seen her there like once or twice. You know what I'm saying? Nobi Gray, Timber Red, she was there. You know what I'm saying? There's a producer there named Ezra Greer. He did production of it. You know what I'm saying? And there was also this one dude named Sid. Now, Sid reminded me of that dude from Beat Street. You know what I'm saying? And you know what dude I'm talking about, because that dude from Beat Street, the one that's always there, making the deals, making things happen, he was there. So it was a pretty interesting time, you know what I'm saying? And then right around that time, Ezra had Kokai and Sub Z. First, those two hooked up with Steve Coleman, and they ended up touring overseas with Steve Coleman and the Metrics. And and during that time, Steve Coleman and the Metrics, Black Thought from the Roots was there before he became Black Thought. So they ended up touring overseas with them, and then coming back to A-Rock as international stars. You know what I'm saying? So, and then later on, Black Indian, I think the second time around, Black Indian ended up going with them. So it was decent there. Good times back then, man.
What got you into journalism?
Oh man, but honestly, it's not so much journalism as far as just writing. Period. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to master all genres of writing. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to. Um, back then, there was a like the Washington Post. You know what I'm saying? I wanted a column. You know what I'm saying? I was inspired by Washington Post artists like Cortland Malloy, who had his column and talked about all the stuff going on in the Black neighborhoods and the Black urban communities back then. I wanted something like that. I kind of wanted to have something like a platform where I can talk about everything going on. So I never went to school for journalism. I was just really interested in all avenues of writing. And that was just one avenue that was open to me at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I just loved writing, period. So I just wanted to make the most of everything at the time.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Rest in peace, Kimberly Washington.
Yes,
Can you talk about who she was to you and what she meant to you?
Oh yeah, Kimberly. To be honest, when I first started working, the first time I met Kimberly Washington, I was a security guard at 1400 Ashford in Washington, D.C. She worked in one of the offices there. One day, she's a real tiny girl, but she's like a giant. She'd walk in, you know what I'm saying? Because she'd walk in, elevators were right here. I was a security guard. My guard post was in the back. Sometimes I would walk at the door, watching people come in. There was always a metro right outside. So, we hanging out at the metro or watching people come in. So she would come into the elevators. One day, she had this magazine. I think it was a Jet magazine, and Maya Angelou was on the cover. So I was like, "Oh, you're into poetry?" She said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm into poetry. I'm into all this type of stuff." So I said, "Oh, well, I write poetry at the time." So she was like, "Oh, really?" So she was interested in my writing, but I couldn't show her all the love poems that I was writing back in the day. So I had to step my game up. You know what I'm saying? So I would take the newspaper, I would take like I was always reading Source magazine at the desk. So I would just look up current events and I would just start writing poetry about it. I would look for pictures or what I'm saying in the magazine that and I tried to interpret those pictures through poetry, different things like that. So she could see something other than this cool, this dude thing that he's trying to impress somebody with freaking love poems, which I was never tried to do. She was like a sister to me. She was like an older sister, you know what I'm saying? So she would read my poetry and she would come downstairs and she would give me little critiques, told me what to do better or give me advice on, you know what I'm saying, how to write it a little better. You know what I'm saying? You should do this, you should put this ahead of this and all of this. So she was kind of like a muse to me in a way, you know what I'm saying? A big sister and a muse. So she really helped me enhance my poetry in that way. And I really appreciate her for that. And back then, DC was like a small town. You know what I'm saying? It's big city. It's a big city, but a small town feeling. So, I would see her here, I would see her there. Tony Lightfoot, she used to run this poetry thing called Soul Brothers Pizza. You know what I'm saying? And I would see Tony Lightfoot all the time. And they both invited me out there to Soul Brothers Pizza and to do poetry there. And I would recite my poetry there. I was really excited. You know what I'm saying? I used to always look at the city paper for things to do, places to do poetry after that, after that, um, after that conversation with her. So yeah, she really helped me out. You know what I'm saying? And she just passed away on Christmas Eve, you know what I'm saying? But she was always like a muse to me because she was once she invited me on her soul conversations, not her soul conversations, when she was doing the poetry on WHOR with Joe Gorham. I was a guest there one year, and she was just a real cool person. And when she was on Soul Conversations, like what I'm saying, I would write poetry whenever I hear her. You know what I'm saying? She was just like a muse, just her voice. You know what I'm saying? Everything about her, she was like real cool, real cool. May she rest in peace. She was just a sweet
Rest in
person.
peace.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, big up Tony Lightfoot. She's the queen of
Yes,
poetry. She had after the pizza joint, she had It's Your Mug.
yes, yes. But before, it's funny because Soul Brothers Pizza um, was owned by the same person that opened up Mango's later. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying? Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So Soul Brothers Pizza was that type of place where people would come, you know what I'm saying? They would either eat it after it closed down, it became like a falafel place of all things.
Hmm.
Or not. But it was a really, really cool place. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the place would be packed with people. Sometimes it would just be me, her, me, Tony Lightfoot, and a couple of other poets. There was a guy named Bilal there who would come. Sometimes it'd be just the three of us. Sometimes it would be like people in the audience. She would come engaged, come up and daggone try to do some poetry. And Tony Lightfoot, she's a sweet person, man. She has this style about her, man. She has this motherly grace about her that she'll just pull you in. You know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing.
Right here with Troy, History of DC.
Yeah, yeah. I was there for a good amount of the good things that happened. I enjoy DC. I mean, it's not like New York. It's like more DC is more intimate
Right,
as far as I'm.
definitely. Let's talk about Straight from the Streets. What was the concept of the magazine, and what was your role?
Straight from the Streets magazine um, was something that let me see. My role is Straight from the Streets magazine. I was one of the writers there. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? It was a national magazine. Um, I'm sorry. My wife distracted me. She walked in the door. I'm like, what are you doing? You gotta go. You gotta go. Forgive me for that. But Straight from the Streets was a national magazine that um, I was a part of. I was one of the staff writers there.
mm,
At first, you know what I'm saying, it was they covered events in DC, they covered events up and down the East Coast. Um, when I first got in there, they asked me what did I want to do? What type of writing did I want to do? And it was like me, there's a bunch of writers. There was a guy there named Sam, but Sam got all the good stories. Sam got the Biggie story. Sam got to interview all these people. So they put me on the jazz. You know, they had me interview jazz artists, which was pretty cool. But I wasn't into jazz at the time, so um, I had to really, really get down and learn everything about jazz. I mean, I interviewed Ben Harper.
right.
Yeah, I interviewed this jazz guitarist. His name was Norman Brown. He was a cool person. I went to his hotel and interviewed him. I interviewed Stanley Clarke by phone. This is what Straight from the Streets looked like back in the day. It's it was a news magazine that had all these articles about everything that happened in the area at the time. It was a pretty cool magazine. I they basically really had me cover events too. You know what I'm saying? Like 1993, they had me cover the Tribe Called Quest De La Soul show at the National Armory, which was a pretty cool show. But they had like four of us there at the time. They had every tried to get different perspectives from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they had me cover a brand new heavies show at GW University. You know what I'm saying? Which was pretty cool. Um, and you know, at the time, every time you went to an event, you tried to interview people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
930 Club. I actually interviewed Spearhead, Michael Franti's band. They had me come in to interview them when they were opening up for the Fugees at the old 930 Club. So that was pretty cool. And then that piggybacked into interviewing them again when they came back to town when they opened up for the Diggable Planets at the Black Cat, which was a cool event because back by then I had reviewed their book, not their book, their album Home. So you know, since then they read the interview that I did at the 930 Club, and then they got that, and then they had me hang out, you know, hung out with them while they were performing, hung out with them backstage. My man Steve-O, Quixote, he was there at the time, so we all got to hang out together. And you know, just after that, we ended up hanging out with them at a couple of other shows. So it was a good look.
That's
Good
real
look.
dope. Let's
Yeah.
talk about Quixote.
Okay.
Like, how did that happen? How did you two meet and you know, explain the bonding that you guys have together? Knowing
Well, Quixote was interesting. The day I met Quixote was a week after I got married. I got married in September 1994, and I met Quixote a week later at a Straight from the Streets. Uh, it wasn't a press conference. It was more or less a what was it? It was a photo shoot for us, all various members, so we can get press passes. So everybody was there. I was there. SP Methods, Phil, he
mm,
was a writer there at the time. He was there. Uh, and we were all sitting around waiting to take our photographs. And this dude walks in, you know what I'm saying? And Steve is the best way to describe Steve is he is pure energy. Whenever he comes into a room or situation, it's
mm,
like he glows. You know what I'm saying? It's pure energy. So he was there, introducing himself to everybody, take it, you know, introduce himself to me, introduce himself to everybody, sat down, took his picture, you know what I'm saying, dapped everybody up, and was gone. Just like that. Poosh. So I think the second time I met him, or the second time we interacted was at HR 57.
right.
Um, this was the second venue for the Freestyle Union at the time. And he came in with a bunch of magazines at the time, you know, the Straight from the Street magazine. He came in with a bunch of them and handed them out to everybody. So I walked up to him like, "Hey, what's up, man? You remember me? I'm Troy. You know what I'm saying, from the Crazy Rich Streets." And he kind of looked at me like he could have remembered, but he didn't really remember me. But he didn't want to be an ass and say, "Yeah, "Get away from me. I don't know you." But he didn't. So we talked, we bonded for a quick couple of minutes, and we went back to Cipher. Everybody doing anything at the Cipher. So he at the end of the night, I was walking home. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have a ride back then.
Right.
I had to do whatever I had to get on that train. Metro closed at midnight, so you had to get on that train and get home, catch that last train. So I was walking to the Metro, and Steve drove up to me. He was driving a red Pathfinder at the time, the famous red Pathfinder. So he hit the horn, said, "Come on over," and got in the car, and he asked me, "Where was I going?" Man, I was just saying, "Well, I'm just going to the Metro." So they said, "Well, where are you going?" And I told him I was going to New Carrollton. He was like, "Oh, okay." And then he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Where do you live?" I said, "I live in Atlanta." It turns out he lived right around the corner from where I lived. So, he drove me home, we talked, we hung out, and that's how it started. That's how me and Steve became the friends that we became. And from there, what I'm saying, we just, every time he went somewhere, he was like, "Well, look, this is happening. Did you want to roll?" I was like, "Yeah." Or, "Yo, I'll be down here. Did you want to meet me down there and do this?" He'd be like, "Yeah." So, we just started hanging out everywhere. And with all that going on and stuff going on in Freestyle Union. So
Right.
that's how we became friends. And from then on in, he met my wife. You know what I'm saying? I met his family, I met his mother and his father. So we just became real cool.
Great dude, man.
Yeah, 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 no doubt, man. Steve is
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about Freestyle Union.
okay.
You Tony Blackman hired you to do some stuff. Was that during Coffee House?
No, it was actually HR 57. It was like in between.
Okay.
Yeah, back then, she was asking me, well, we would meet, what I'm saying? Because back then, like right before I got in the post office, I was a security guard, like I said earlier. So, after my shift, I would meet her somewhere like Kramer Books and more, all those good bookstores that are not even open no more. So we would talk about her plan for the Freestyle Union, what she wanted to do. And she asked me about being able to like keep a diary of the history of everything that goes on. Keep a diary, just make sure that we're represented well. What I'm saying, for the press or for media. So if they have, if they want to interview somebody, or if they want to, she just wanted everything to be straight as far as like facts straight. So she definitely had a vision back then. You know what I'm saying? She wanted to make sure that we were seen in a proper light. Because as far as hip hop went, a lot of people, even back then, a lot of people weren't really feeling hip hop like this. And what we were doing with hip hop was like up here. You know what I'm saying? Melding all styles and melding all type of different, melding the poetry and the jazz and all the daggone different type of musics and everything. So we were ahead of the place. We were like probably like 3 steps ahead, and she wanted to make sure we stayed 3 steps ahead. So she definitely had a vision, and I was very, very honored that she included me in that. So when we were at HR 57, though, they had that owner that was there. His name was Tony Poussin,
Mm-hmm.
and he was scared of us. You know what I'm saying? He did not understand us. I think he thought that we were like thugs, and you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying, he thought, I don't know what he thought, but he was afraid of us. He was not a big fan of hip hop. Period. But even then, check this out. She was like, well, Tony was like, well, look, what I'll do is I'll just have him interact with Steve Quixote a lot, because Quixote had, like I said, he had that energy. So that was one of the things she asked Quixote to do. Like, well, go up there, interact with him, just let him know how cool we all are. You know what I'm saying? So he would go up there and do that. He'd come back down, everything be all right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he wasn't really feeling it. So after a while, you know what I'm saying? But we stayed at HR 57 for a while. Now that I think about it, because that's when hibernation first came. The first time I been up a hibernation, it came. First time I met Joy, you know what I'm saying? It was right then. And I think Joy, at first, I always thought Joy brought hibernation in. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember how the hibernation made the energy change too. Like we were all like friends before, but hibernation brought in this, this youthful edge. You know what I'm saying? Brought in this. Oh, what's the best way to say it? It's like it brought that collective brought like a coolness to what was already cool. You know what I'm saying? They brought all these intricate rappers in. You know what I'm saying? They brought, you had Seed, you had Shatungwa, you had Cyrus. You know what I'm saying? You had Rub Love, DMC, and Cyphers was just like off the hook then. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause Rub Love, he would actually be in the cipher. You know what I'm saying? And I think he used to work at the bank at the time. He used to kick his shoes off in the middle of the cipher and rhyme. He was just, and he was like one of the coolest rappers to me. To
Yep.
be honest, I mean, he was just dope. He was
Yeah.
just dope. I mean,
Hibernation.
the
I mean,
whole crew, the
the
whole
whole
crew.
crew.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, they just brought a gravitas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, and they were younger. They brought a more relatable element to the freestyle unit. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
wordplay C, you know what I'm saying? C with his daggone backpack full of daggone who knows what, drinking his mystics, you know what I'm saying? Timberlands with his daggone tank top Timberlands and sweatpants. I mean, it was I mean,
Yeah.
they just brought it and they brought
Like
it
very
up.
unique styles.
Oh my God, bro. You had
I'm a fan myself.
yeah. And I'm trying to think. You and your brother, I know y'all were there around the same time, I think. When did y'all
Yeah.
come? Y'all came in around y'all 57 as well?
Yeah. Well, my brother came before me, so yeah, he was
Mm-hmm.
part of it before. I guess I was more into Coffee House when it was
Okay.
Coffee House, but I know my brother was part of the 8 Rock to HR 57.
I definitely remember your brother.
But yeah, I just you like explaining how you first saw hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the same reaction.
Oh my God,
Like, I was
dude.
like, wow, these guys are
Exactly.
rapping? What? No, it's
Exactly. Exactly. And then Jerome, I forgot all about Jerome. He was,
yeah.
oh my God, dude. And Jerome used to always have this thing about him where he was either quiet and serious or serious and serious.
Hmm.
And he would, there was a couple of times after the ciphers were over, he would have like people outside listening to him talk about anything. It's like, and they would just sit around and listen to him. I was like, this dude here. So,
Yeah, he's ill, yo. Very
yeah.
ill dude. What is your U Street memories?
Oh my God, everything about U Street was off the chain. Um,
Well, explain to people what U Street is to you.
School, be honest. You know what I'm saying? U Street is that utopia. Best word ever. Utopia. It's if you're in the desert and you see this mirage and you run this mirage to be quenched, that was U Street. You know what I'm saying? If you were deprived of anything, U Street. You know what I'm saying? U Street had an artistry about it. You know what I'm saying? And this was, I want to say, before um, it got, before the Lincoln Theater opened back up, before Bohemian Caverns opened back up, we had spots like State of the Union, you know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Which was a dope spot, you know what I'm saying? That's where everybody used to perform. That's what, you used to always see Jessica in the corner mysteriously. You know what I'm saying? She was always there. But then you had State of the Union. Right next to State of the Union, you had the Republic Gardens where all the bougie cats, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And all the little suits and all the bankers and all these other cats and these daggone administrative assistants, you know what I'm saying, would be trying to daggone sit there and cop women and buy them drinks of them. Shout out to Mark Barnes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, it was like two different sides of a coin. You know what I'm saying? We, of course, were the heads, but they were definitely the tails. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Then you had across the street, bar none,
Bar none.
the greatest place. I mean, Monday nights at bar none, you know what I'm saying, was just incredible. You know what I'm saying? They would have all of this, it was like a melding. It was MCs, poets, and DJs, and then the bands over there performing. And it was just off the chain. it was off the chain. It was off the chain. I mean, D-Mock, D-Mock. If anybody remembers D-Mock, D-Mock used to always be there with his little chess set. You know what I'm saying? Just ready to play chess with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Used to
yeah. I mean,
D-Mock, yo.
mhm. It was always sweaty down there for some reason. And it was good to, you know what I'm saying? It was just it was just awesome. It was a good place. And
Like,
then up the street you had Twins Jazz, you know what I'm
mhm.
saying? The jazz heads, you know what I'm saying? And it, this is a little place called Polly's Bar, you know what I'm saying? You get your little drink on there. But you know, U Street now, and then up the street there was like a couple of other small spots. The Copper House was there too. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Ben's Chili Bowl, where you went after everything was over. You know what I'm saying?
Still there.
Oh my God, get your turkey burger with your daggone vanilla shake, you know what I'm saying? Chili cheese fries. And
Still
then,
there. But right now you're listening to history.
yeah,
You were
thank you.
there in DC at that time, you know.
It was beyond
If you
words.
weren't, I'm sorry you missed out, but it was the artist hub.
Yeah, it was. It was. And it was a beautiful place. I mean, you'll never, I don't know, it was lightning, but you'll never have that again. You know what I'm saying? You go down U Street now, they have all this, because I got to drive by there every now and again. There's nothing down there but Starbucks and all these rich little houses, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's changed.
Yeah. Mangoes too. Like I said, the dude that owns Soul Brother Pizza, he owned Mangoes. So, you know, go right around the corner, Mangoes was there.
Right?
Yeah, but now, you know, you got Busboys and Poets, which is like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, which is, no, does not compare to
Oh,
what we had back there. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
no disrespect to Busboys and Poets, but it's very boutique to
Hmm.
me
Yeah,
compared to what we had. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's trying to be what we had. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
No disrespect. No
Well,
disrespect. Trust
they
me.
can
I
try.
want
They
my
need to
book
try
on your
harder.
shelves, and y'all never let me get it in there.
Um, I've known you for quite a while, and I've always seen you with a video camera.
Oh, word. Yeah.
Why don't you explain to the people what you were doing with the video camera and like what kind of do you have any memories of specific moments?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking that.
Hmm.
The video camera thing. Um, I had a friend of mine, oh, my brother-in-law actually. You know what I'm saying? While I was courting, he got this video camera for Christmas. And one day, one day he got drunk and left it there. And I told him that he lost it, but I kept it. So I had access to a video camera, dude, I did not have before, and it was amazing. The first thing I ever recorded with the video camera was a show that Freestyle Union did with Generation 2000 at Howard University. Now, at this show, um, I was excited. It was me, G2000 went on first, Generation 2000, which was a poetry crew
Hmm.
that consisted of Daryl Perry, Sam Jefferson, Patrick Washington, um, Lisa Pegram, and Tiffany Thompson. If I'm not mistaken, if I got them wrong, forgive me. As long as I got the Poem C's name right, I don't really care about the other three. As long as I got Daryl Perry and Patrick Washington right. But they went on first and they were powerful, electric. You know what I'm saying? They were such a good crew. I wish I'd have got footage of them. But the first time she asked me to record, I went up in the rafters with the video camera. And remember Francesca, Fran? She was
Hmm.
me taking pictures from up above, but I'm videotaping and I'm so excited about what I'm seeing on stage that my voice is overpowering all of the actual rhymes being said. They hear me going, oh my God, you on, yeah, oh. So I had to learn to be quiet when I recorded. But that's the first time I recorded something. But there was other times I recorded I got a lot of footage, you know what I'm saying, that hopefully, you know what I'm saying, that will go in the annals of our history. You know what I'm saying? There was a one time you were there. Priest, it was like one day after Christmas. There was a Kwanzaa show being done at a church. Priest, the Nomad, he enlisted Quixote and a bunch of us to each MC was supposed to recite a principle of Kwanzaa in freestyle. So we all jumped in the streets, read Pathfinder, and rode out to the church. But by the time, because it had snowed the day after, they canceled. So we ended up going to Isher Mug because that's what you did. Isher Mug is Tony Lightfoot's successor to Soul Brothers Pizza, a poetry spot in Georgetown. So we ended up going there, you know what I'm saying? You guys rocked it, as y'all always do. You know what I'm saying? It was Philly rocked the joint, you rocked the joint. Um, I and after it was over, I had the camera still because I was going to record the Kwanzaa session. Went outside and had a freestyle outside in front of your mug.
Right.
And oh my God, I mean, it's just moments like that it's beautiful.
That's dope. That's really
Yeah.
dope.
Also, there was a crossover event in DC called the Crosstown Jam. Hibernation was recording. It was supposed to be a freestyle union event, but Tony delegated the task to Hibernation. So I was able to record them performing at the Crosstown Jam, which was who else was there? Remember Boo Boo the Fool and the All-Star Swim Team?
Oh yeah.
They were there, you know what I'm saying? Storm the Unpredictable, he came to support. So, and I think he got on stage too, but you know, Hibernation rocked that joint. And you know, stuff like that. I would also get ciphers, you know what I'm saying? I would also try to catch as much of the moment as I could.
That's
as often as I could. Yeah.
This is on video camera.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, just and of course y'all are naturals in front of the camera. So yeah.
We didn't even know.
Also, when we went to New York for the New Yorican poetry journey.
Oh
yeah. I recorded that too, and it was a humbling experience to watch all of y'all rock that joint because I don't think they knew what was happening. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they had a clue as to what we were bringing to the forefront. And you know, there was also other events that Freestyle Union had that if I didn't have my video camera, I had a camera,
right.
like the 930 Club event when we all performed in the basement. I think Bahamadia was performing upstairs, we were performing downstairs, and we had everything set up like ciphers every place else, like at HR 57 down there. You know what I'm saying? People would come down, and this is not the first time that I experienced Khalil and Rashad, but this is the best time. This is the most memorable time that those two were on stage. The first time I was like, oh, these two here. And they were like young. They were like 14 at the time. Right. And incredible. I think Khalil called himself Alien back then. And
they were mysticism, I think.
Yes. He was Alien. Rashad was Scorpion. And Rashad, the X-Men. Scott Simmons has a brother named Havoc.
Right.
And Havoc's power is his power erupts from his chest. You know what I'm saying? Just like Cyclops' powers erupt from his eyes.
Right.
Havoc's erupts from his chest. And that's what Rashad looks like when he's rhyming. The words come out of this dude sonically, and he attacks you with his rhymes.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Not to be messed with. Like still like today. His energy is just like that.
Off the chain.
Different topic, but like, you know.
Let me tell you one thing. There was one time, you know what, Howard University used to have this hip hop event. It was like a 3-day event they used to have. I forget what it was called. Forgive me. But there was one time when we were all there. You know what I'm saying? Steve, Coyote was there. I was there. Steve was there. And young Rashad was there. Rub Love was there. There was a freestyle session. Rub Love knew that there was cats in there doing pre-recorded rhymes. And then he came in the middle of the cipher and said, 1 time, 2 time. no more MCs with pre-written rhymes. And the dude that was in there doing the pre-written rhymes was like, it exited out of the scene. That dude probably like disappeared into the scene because he was gone. Never seen this dude again, never heard from this dude again. But Rashad was there.
Right.
And Marley Marl was there. Marley Marl had this protege of his there. And the protege was rhyming. And Rashad got on there and started talking about DC, district this, that, this, this, that, breaking shit down. And then Marley Marl went to his protege and said, stop. Don't even come up behind this dude and rhyme. Because this dude was spitting fire. 14. Spitting
14.
fire. Spitting fire.
Crazy, man. Word.
Yeah.
Yo, let's go back to 2006. Let's talk about your book that you put out called Abstract Griot. Yeah, got my copy.
Thank you. Well, the Abstract Griot is something I wrote in 2006. It's a story. It's a book written in 7 short stories. It's each story is about this place. Well, let me break down where the inspiration of it came from. A long time ago, Tony Blackman and Tony Lightfoot, in February 1995, they both was the first anniversary of the Freestyle Union and It's Your Mug projects. So they both joined forces and had an anniversary party at Tacoma Station. Tacoma Station is a little jazz club in the Tacoma area of DC. So during the anniversary, Tacoma Station was this dope little spot where, like a jazz spot, which is a little supper club area, you know what I'm saying, and performances on stage. So I'm trying to think of who was there at the time. I know Holly Bass was there. Holly Bass was a writer for the City Paper, and she was a poet. Tony Lightfoot was there. They had Generation 2000 was there. There was a poet named Brandon Johnson was there. And a bunch of people for the Freestyle Union side, you had Kokai, Tim Buck, who changed his name to Sub Z by then. Right. You had Black Indian, you had Tony, and you had a bunch of other people representing the Freestyle Union side. So that stage and that vibe, I mean, there was people there who didn't expect it and didn't know what was going on at the time. So that whole vibe of that night kind of like set the stage or planted the seeds in my head for what the Abstract Griot will become. The Abstract Griot itself is supposed to be a supper club that was established. It's fictional, but it was a supper club that was established in 1962 by a jazz group, a jazz bassist named Kenny Baker.
Right.
Kenny Baker ran the club for 30 years, and then his son decided to buy the club from him so he could retire. And he added all of these other elements to it, like the poetry, the hip hop, the more music, you know what I'm saying, the club, the DJ, and everything. So in a way, I tried to capture that night in a fictional setting. The Abstract Griot is it has 7 short stories, and all of the short stories are about either the people who attend the Abstract Griot, you know what I'm saying, or people who work there. Like I have a chapter for Kenny Baker Jr. about his day-to-day activity. I have a chapter about a girl named Paradise who is a poet, and she works for my fictionalized version of the City Paper called the DC City Reader. She has a story based on what she was going through. I have 2 rap groups. One rap group in the story, they're called Anti-Gravity. Anti-Gravity is a rap group that consists of 3 male MCs and 1 lady MC. Lady MC is Flame. The other MCs are Fog, Rain Dance, and Dynamite. Dynamite's a graffiti artist MC. Rain Dance is a nerdy MC. And Fog is a producer. You know what I'm saying? Heavy set producer type dude. You know what I'm saying? Always driving everybody everywhere. And the elements of who we are is in everybody in this book. But their story is they're trying to get a record deal, And it turns out that they only want Flame, the female rapper. And she has to figure out whether she's going to get the deal on her own or is she going to stay with her friends and not want the deal. You know what I'm saying? Paradise's story is about her hair. You know what I'm saying? She's starting to lock her hair, and she has an issue at work where they're saying that her hair is inappropriate for her work. So now she has to decide what she's going to do. You know what I'm saying? I incorporated the first short story I ever wrote into this. It's about a female lady teacher named Dana Connor, and it's about her day-to-day life at school. She's a school teacher and what she has to go through as a school teacher. And then there's a poet. Or I talked about Hawk and Dove, the other rap group. They're both, Dove is a married man, Hawk is a single man. They've been friends forever. Dove, the married one, used to always handle everything. So he's doing too much, and his wife wants him to back off a little bit. So he decides that, okay, so I guess both of us are gonna back off a little bit. But Hawk decides that he's gonna try to go on without Dove and ends up being more successful without him. So, it sparks all type of jealousy between the two. And I have another character in here named Mood. Now, Mood is probably the best way to describe Mood is me before I got married. Because, this dude goes out to romantic poetry. He goes with women while he's on the cipher and tries to daggone sit there and try to seduce women through his poetry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up falling for a girl. That's something he's never done before. And, story, stuff like that. Stories about each and every individual within the Abstract Griot.
Right.
So,
hold up 1 minute, Troy.
Okay.
My bad. My cat plugged the lamp. All right.
Oh no.
so we're back. All right. So where can people get the Abstract Griot? It's still out.
It's still out. It's available on Amazon of all places. The issue with the Abstract Griot, when I first put it out, I had a deal with a lady, and she wanted to release it under her imprint. So she was releasing books at the time. So at first I paid her to edit the book, and she decided she wanted to put it out on her own imprint, and our relationship didn't work out. So I ended up at one point she wanted to rewrite the whole thing, and she would always make it seem like while she was editing it, that she was doing me a favor. You know what I'm saying? But always make me feel a little small, like, well, I'm doing this for you, and I'm calling you to let you know that I'm working on your thing. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm doing this for you. And I would have constantly said, well, thank you. I appreciate it. But at the same time, I'm like, I gave you money. I paid what you asked me to pay. And then when she decided that she wanted to rewrite the whole thing, I decided to just tell her to keep whatever I gave her, got everything back, and decided to release it on my own. So
right.
I released it I self-published it through Infinity Publishing. And like I said, it's available at Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Let me know what you think. If you don't like it, I'll buy it back from you. That's how confident I am. But I want y'all to know, I just want y'all to take away, I want y'all to read the book and let me know what you think about it, because it's it's very visual. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing I always ask people. Well, could you see? Could you see everything happening? You know what I'm saying? So I ended up trying to get it in a couple of stores. I was unsuccessful getting it where I wanted to get it. I tried to, I don't want to say I did the book at the service as far as like, because it's been out for so long and I tried to do everything I could. You know what I'm saying? I used to give the book to bookstores, hoping that they would place it on their shelves. I would give the books to friends who knew friends who said, well, if I can give me a copy, I'll have this person look at it and maybe they'll do this for you. So I tried to do as much as I could to get it out to as many outlets as I could. So, like I said, check it out. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. It's on Amazon. Everyone got Amazon.
It's available at Amazon. You give it a couple of days. I'll come out to where you are and I will sign it for you. If you want.
There you have it. So Why don't you do this? Name me your top favorite writers of all time. Five. Give
Oh,
me five.
I could probably. Okay, good question. Definitely, Langston Hughes.
Okay.
He's yeah, he's greatest of all time to me. You know what I'm saying? His poetry, his short stories. You know what I'm saying? He's he's the truth. You know what I'm saying? He's a living embodiment of poetry to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I love everything that he's done. I'm a fan of his Jesse Be Simple stories. You know what I'm saying? His poetry is always fluid. You know what I'm saying? He's
Word.
I love listening to him. If there's archival footage everywhere of him reciting poetry, and it's beautiful. He's the goat to me. He's the greatest of all time. Um, oh, Raymond Chandler. I love Raymond Chandler. I took a year. I when I read books, I usually do it like every year. I try to read a series of books. So Raymond Chandler is the person who created Philip Marlowe character. You know what I'm saying? The detective. Raymond Chandler is a heavy dialogue type of writer. You know what I'm saying? He writes. I don't know. There's somebody say he writes like a slumming angel, which I agree with. I mean, his words are on point. I mean, he pulls you into the story. If you like LA back in the day before freeways and everything, I mean, his stories are so good. The stories are so good. They're so rich in detail. And you know, back then, you know, he wrote The Big Sleep. He wrote Murder, not Murder My Sweet, Farewell My Lovely, which became the movie Murder My Sweet. You
Right.
know, what I'm saying? He did script work for Double Indemnity, the Blue Dahlia. He wrote scripts for those, and you know, he doctored up a lot of people's writing. Sunset Boulevard. He um, he doesn't get any credit for that, but he actually wrote that as well. I mean, beautiful, beautiful writer. And if you watch his movies, the way I got into Raymond Chandler was I watched The Big Sleep, and I watched Murder My Sweet and Farewell My Lovely, and he has another one, Lady in the Lake, which is the movies are terrible compared to his writing. You know what I'm saying? The Big Sleep, I don't understand it, but the movie, I mean, but his writing is off the chain.
Right.
So he's another one. I'm gonna go left field with this choice. Hold on a second. My bookshelf, real fast. Give me a second. Okay. There's a comic book writer by the name of Brian Michael Bendis. Brian Michael Bendis created Miles Morales, the Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
He created Jessica Jones. He had a series called Power, a book series that became a television show. Phenomenal writer. He writes the way he writes. There's no words. I mean, this is Alias right here. You know what I'm saying? Jessica Jones's first novel. It's a max issue. Um, it's an adult. It's very adult, very adult, very adult. But he's the dude that brought Luke Cage back. You know what I'm saying? Luke Cage was the character that nobody gave a damn about. Or was still yellow shirt,
Mm-hmm.
Princess Tiara, but he brought Luke Cage back fluidly. You know what I'm saying? He brought him back in the pages of Alias as a lover to Jessica Jones. Um, his work on Daredevil, Brian Michael Bendis' work on Daredevil is like a mob movie. His whole run on Daredevil is like superior to anything I've ever read. And I pull it out every now and again just to remind myself what a good comic book writing is. Um, back to Alias, Jessica Jones, the television series, is terrible compared to Jessica Jones, the book. I don't like Kristen Ritter. I don't like the way she plays Jessica Jones because she plays her angry all the time, and Jessica was not angry all the time.
Right.
Jessica had a heart, but she just plays her all wrong. So if they ever do a series again, I hope they never ever bring her back. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. There's a modern writer by the name of Tayari Jones
Mm-hmm.
from Atlanta. She's she wrote Leaving Atlanta. She wrote The Untelling. Um, she wrote Silver Sparrow, and her recent book, An American Marriage, was an Oprah Winfrey pick.
Okay.
Um, right around the time that she wrote The Untelling, or right before The Untelling, her second book. I'm looking at my bookshelf because I have them all right here. So by the time her second book, The Untelling, was released, she was doing classes at GW University. She was conducting classes, so I had the opportunity to be a part of one of her classes. It was an evening class that was on, I think it was the McKeon Fellowship. So she would have 10 writers come in. We would all review our writing with everybody, you know what I'm saying? And she would critique the way we write. She would teach us the finer points of writing, you know what I'm saying? And she's phenomenal. So
Right.
all of her works, if you read them, they're very visual. Like you can see it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a movie in your mind.
Mhm.
And I'm not trying to gaslight anybody. She's just that good. Her last book, American Marriage, was an Oprah Winfrey pick. That's
Wow.
how yeah, that's how good she is. And I'm hoping that they option it for a movie because it's that good. And like I said, she's a mentor to me. I mean, it's been times. Every
Hmm.
time she gets to DC, I try to catch up with her, me and another couple of friends, you know what I'm saying? A couple of people from the class, you know what I'm saying? She met us at the bar once or twice. You know what I'm saying? It's just to sit there and actually drink with one of your favorite writers,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And just listen to her talk about her favorite type of music and listen and just have a good time and just talk about how Southern food she used to eat. She's a class act.
That's real.
And and her writing is, like I said, it's beyond words. It's beyond words. So that's four. I can't think of a fifth one, but if I had to think of a fifth one, I would say another comic book writer by the name of Darwin Cook,
There
who
you
was
go.
who was he wrote what was it? I have this stuff right here. Not only is he a comic book writer, but he's an artist. He does a lot of golden age stuff or stuff like DC New Frontier, which they optioned it to a animated series. He used to work on Batman Beyond back in the day, and his writing, he does like a lot of the golden age stuff, like The Spirit, or like I said before, New Frontiers. He's got a series of books out. He passed away like 4 years ago, but before he died, he was working on these Parker books. So I mean, his art is very clean and crisp. You can see his Wonder Woman. He's very he's very crisp artist, and he's very very good. He's very good. He's very good. But that's about it. That's
Yeah, that's
that
dope.
fine. That was fine.
That's five.
Yeah. Okay.
You're working on a script for your next.
Yes. Yes. What it is
Yeah.
I've been, if I can say so, I've been inspired by the amphibians. They've all going into the archives this year, you know what I'm saying, putting out good music. So I decided to go into my personal writing archives. You know what I'm saying? I have a bunch of short stories that I've never put out. And I've been trying to develop them differently. I've been watching a lot of movies
Hmm.
that are based on books and trying to compare the movies to the books. And I'm trying to translate a couple of my short stories into scripts. So I've been trying to teach myself how to do that. So right now I have one called 14 Day Furlough, which I wrote as a play. So I'm trying to work on scenes and, you know what I'm saying, how to put the dialogue just right. With that, I have another one called Jazz Funeral, which I'm trying to work into to that as well. So I'm doing I'm very that's where I am right now as far as like trying to take a lot of it. Oh, I also have another one about these two postal inspectors.
Mm.
Um, what they go through. You know what I'm saying? One of them, his name is Integrity, but everybody called him Gritty because he used to be an MC back in the day. So him and his partner, she's a postal inspector too, but before that, she her mother was somebody who went postal and shot up the post office once. So she always gets that stigma behind her. But they're kind of like solving cases involving things going on. So I have one short story based on those two that I'm trying to put out next year. So I'm trying to work that into a script as well.
There you go.
But
What's your
inspired by you guys. You guys went back into the archives. I said, well, they're going to do it. I got to do it too. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely, man?
thank you, Amphibians crew.
I know. Thank you.
Oh,
For real.
please.
What is your thoughts about the Amphibians Collective?
Oh my God. Well, first off,
For now.
it's an honor to be a part of it. Family. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many crews out there that put on this false identity of being a genuine crew. You know what I'm saying? Or they put out this false imagery of, oh yeah, we're a family, but the Amphibians really is a family. I mean, we're all like-minded individuals. We're all friends. You know what I'm saying? And this is the type of family that would be friends without hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're the type of people that would hang out. You know what I'm saying? Like even when we weren't really doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? I would find me and Shatunga would like magically find each other somewhere, or we would just walk into each other somewhere and be like, oh hey, it'd be just like 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I would run into people like Donna Davis in Starbucks, or I would run into Steve every so often everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Jamal, where he lived here, I would just run it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Aqua Slim. You know what I'm saying? If there's an event going on, I happen to be there. He's always there. So RBI. You know what I'm saying? And it's a family thing for us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad y'all are ready to change the world now, and it's very necessary because this keeps joy alive. This keeps Philly alive in a sense. You know what I'm saying? What we're doing. So kudos. Same thing with Khalid. I mean, I would see Khalid. I mean, I think he lived on the route that was next to mine, so I would run into him every now and again. This family, and I appreciate it.
So you were in the music scene. What groups did you like? What are your favorite groups? Did you like
Mine.
at DC?
Wow. Um, I'm a huge Jackson 5 fan. Jackson 5. When I first started listening to music, it was more or less not so much. I got my love for music came from a very, very sincere place. It came from Saturday morning cartoons,
Okay.
if I may be so bold.
Mhm.
Josie and the Pussycats, Jackson 5 cartoon, Fat Albert, you know what I'm saying? Harlem Globetrotters, they had a cartoon a long time ago. And, all these cartoons would have music in it. The Archies,
Mhm.
Partridge Family. So music has always been a visual thing for me coming up. You know what I'm saying? And my father, he was always so into music. He used to take me around with him. He used to carry this little 8-track machine. I used to ride around with him in his Impala. Always Tavares is playing. Always Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes are playing. Always Marvin Gaye's playing. So my love for music is first off a visual thing based on television. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's very soulful. So Jackson 5, first and foremost, they had a cartoon back in the day. That's how I first got into the Jackson 5. And Jackson 5 is like, to me, one of the most slept on groups because everybody focuses on Michael, but they never focus on Jermaine. Jermaine,
Nah, them brothers
the
were
bass and
real
singing.
dope. If you
Yeah,
really
you play the
listen
bass and
to
sing at the same time, but yeah, that was one of my favorite groups.
them.
Teenager in New York, Houdini. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
gosh, yeah.
Bruh, I'm gonna tell you now.
Peace, ecstasy.
Yes, rest in peace.
Yeah, man.
Houdini defined my teenage years. You know what I'm saying? Friends, you know what I'm saying? How many of us have them? One love, you know what I'm saying?
Hello.
Um, a friend of mine lived on Lafayette Avenue, which is around the corner, not Lafayette, Lexington Avenue, right around the corner from where I live. Um, knew the DJ for Houdini. You know what I'm saying? So he was always around it. I think he was hollering at somebody. So he was always there. Um, phenomenal group, Funky Beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, that group is from Brooklyn, actually. So
Yes, indeed. Yes.
surprised if you
Yeah.
did see them.
Yeah, I did, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they had the Freaks come out at night. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I mean, beautiful group.
Right,
Beautiful.
right.
Yeah,
That's dope.
of course Prince. You know what I'm saying? You
Prince,
come up at,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Purple Rain,
Hmm.
saying I want to be a lover. So I'm a big Prince fan. Hall and Oates. You know
In
what I'm
the
saying?
DC scene, did you like anybody from the DC scene? Would you listen
As far as
to
DC
one of
groups,
the DC groups? Yeah,
local groups,
local groups.
now groups,
No, well, not now, but like if you want,
always groups. Oh, of course.
so like groups that you were listening to in DC, like
Oh,
sometimes
definitely.
like it doesn't even have to be like people from Freestyle Union.
But
It
they
could
were
be
people
like
from value.
Chuck Brown for example, if you like Go Go or you know
The thing with go-go, I didn't get into go-go till I got to DC. You know
right.
what I'm saying? I think when we were coming up on the weekends, you know what I'm saying? My big thing was trying to go to a go-go show, and it never happened. But I used to have a roommate. His name was Kirby, and we're still cool to this day. Kirby was a DC dude. You know what I'm saying? He used to have these tapes. You know what I'm saying? So we down in North Carolina, grooving the daggone RE, grooving the daggone backyard, grooving to everything. And I was like, oh, we got to go up there and see these grooves, but we never did. We never did.
Right. I
I've
mean,
always,
it's something like Go Go has to be something that like is shared from someone from DC.
have to.
You wouldn't have to you wouldn't so you would understand it.
Yeah, somebody they one of the DC groups, somebody literally hold your hand and guide you into it. Yeah.
Right.
But as far as local, of course, Tim Hicks and,
Yeah.
and, and Bullets. I bought that when it came out last year.
Mhm.
Phenomenal album. Um, Cornell West Theory. You know what I'm saying? Tim Hicks again with Rashad. You know what I'm saying? By the time I get to Minnesota, it's
Yep.
a dope album. Of course, Kokai's music. Um, Sub Z had a group called Theo Blue. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Them. So of course, Poem Seas. You know what I'm saying? All these. I have not listened to Renell's album yet, but that's next on my list. So
Right. Right. Right.
I cannot wait to tell
Stuff like
everybody how
yeah.
much I love your album.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah.
Oh man. 2020 has been a rough year.
Yeah. Hey,
What got you through this crazy time?
you know, honestly, nothing's really changed as far as the day to day for me
Hmm.
in 2020. I work at the post office, so it kind of got worse as far as like people ordering packages. So my workload increased, and during the pandemic, which is scary at best. But I moved them before the pandemic happened. I moved them to a new route, and the new route I'm on is the same route I delivered when I first got in the post office, but it's drastically different. Um, they built up more houses. Gentrification then took over DC, so
Hmm.
it took over that whole area. So it's different. It's familiar, but it's different. So, um, but no more movie theaters, no more.
Right.
We used to go see the Nats games all the time, me and the family. That's over. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a difficult transition socially.
Right.
But
Right. Totally. You're
yeah,
right.
work wise, man, I mean, ooh, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
What's the future for Troy?
Oh, interesting you asked. I just called Steve Quixote a few days ago about this book I did that fell in my lap. And when I say fell in my lap, it got me really, really excited to write again. Now, as far as writing goes, like I said, besides me going back to the archives to document my scripts, I haven't really been writing as much. I haven't really felt the spark. Like I have stuff, or after wrote the Abstract Rio, I wrote another book called The Sojourner Chronicles, which was about, but I never released it. It's still sitting in my computer. It's about this, more so about this treasure hunt or this treasure hunt. What do they call those? Not a treasure hunt. Those things where you go from one to another and then you have to show everything. Not a treasure hunt.
Sort of
Anyway,
like, yeah.
anyway, there's no hip hop in the year 2025. So I have a group of people looking for archival footage or archival proof that hip hop actually existed. So when I wrote it, 2025 seemed so far away, but that was right around the corner. So all the technology that I wrote for it, I got to go back and redo. Like I had wrist phones and that wasn't flying cars, but it was like all type of crazy stuff. So I'm like, okay, now that we actually have video phones and all this other stuff, so I gotta really, I'm gonna go back and redo that one day. But I have this story idea that I'm gonna start researching.
Right.
And once I get the seeds of the research done in about the next 6 or 7 months, I'm gonna start putting pen to paper and writing it. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. And it honors so much of the past. You know what I'm saying? It honors the history of the African Americans. You know what I'm saying? The real history of the African Americans, but in a fictional setting. So it fell in my lap, and I'm very excited about it. So I'll keep y'all posted.
Where can people find you on social media?
Right now, I'm on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Troy L Thompson. I'm on Instagram, Troy L7. And that's it. You can find me and my email address. If you want to email me, it's speakyourmind, SPEAKYOMIND, speakyourmind @hotmail.com.
There you have it.
Yes.
This is Fresh Convo Season 2 with my boy Troy.
Yes, indeed.
You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
indeed.
Get the book, Abstract Griot.
Thank you.
You know?
I want to say, I just want to thank all of you, especially within the Amphibians crew. You know what I'm saying? For this family that we have. I mean, I love all of y'all, and I just lost a dear friend. So I just want to tell everybody out there: don't be afraid to tell people that you love them. You know what I'm saying? Even if it seems weird to them and they don't say it back, let them know. Let them know life is too short, and live your life to the fullest.
Word.
Thank you.
Yo,
Yes.
this is Fresh Convos. You see the
Convos.
t-shirt? Go to amphibians.com. We got a merch page
Merch.
with a lot of Fresh Convo joints and
Yes. Pick up the
amphibians.
merchandise. Pick up the merchandise.
And also, check out the video. See Popular got a video.
Oh, my theme music.
My theme music.
Beautiful, beautiful video.
Also, check out Breathe Volume 1 if you haven't. Amphibians Volume 1, the Breathe album.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we'll see you next week.
Yes.
On Fresh Convo Season 2. Peace.
Peace, everybody.